Looking again at the model of Jerusalem from the other side. Seeing the temple here. Holy Land Experience, February 23rd, 2009. Ton of detail, isn't there? This is massive. All the columns.
Awesome.
Okay, well, the Bible tells us that there were giants in the land. So here I am. Only time I can be a giant when I get up here. What you're looking at is a replication of the city of Jerusalem as it would have looked in the year 66 AD. That is obviously 30 plus years after the crucifixion. It was only 4 years before the Romans would come and totally destroy everything that is here. We chose that year because that was when the city peaked in both size and population. The original city was down here. Walled in, it covered only 11 acres and was known as the city of Jebus. Was inhabited by a Canaanite tribe known as the Jebusites. About 1000 BC, David was made king of Israel. He needed a capital city. If he chose a city that belonged to any one of the tribes, there would be more envy, jealousy among them than already existed. God's people of that day had a terrible problem with envy and jealousy among themselves. So glad God's people have resolved that today. Why? You mean it's still a problem? I'm so disappointed. At any rate, Jebus was what David needed. It was a neutral site. No tribe had tried to claim or conquer it. So David captured the city and he renamed it the City of David. It would later reclaim its most ancient name, some of the oldest secular writings of that era. They're called the Letters of Amarna, and they go back beyond the time of the Exodus. And in those ancient writings, that little city was referenced as Yerushalayim, which we pronounce Jerusalem. Now back to 66 AD, the time the model represents. At that point in history, the city was from this southern wall 1 mile up to the northern wall. A mile long, 2/3 of a mile wide, and a population of 90,000 people. Scattered throughout the city, a number of synagogues, much like this one. Even after the temple was rebuilt, the synagogues continued to serve a number of useful functions for the Jewish people, and of course it is their synagogues that do that for them to this very day. A beautiful palace had been built by a Gentile queen. Her name was Helena. She was the queen mother of a small Mesopotamian kingdom called Adiabene. It was located in what is today the northwest corner of Iraq. She and her son, the king, both converted to Judaism. She had a love for the people. In 42 AD, a famine struck the city. She sent grain to help feed people. Out of gratitude, they allowed her to build this palace in the city, even though she was a Gentile. The building at my feet, a council house, where matters of the religious law were settled. The first 5 books of the Old Testament, we identify the 10 commandments. The Jewish people identify 613 commandments. Over the centuries, they developed hundreds, even thousands of traditions, many of which became a part of that law. By the days of the New Testament, that law was so complex, no one knew what it said. That doesn't familiar sound. So people would come to the council house, present their own personal set of circumstances to the elders who would search that voluminous law, and then tell the person, this is what you have to do. Gave the elders tremendous power. And because they spent their days reading, studying, searching in that religious law, they are the ones who are referred to in the New Testament as lawyers. You usually get a different response to that, but I'll stay out of trouble this way. The other building was a mikvah. The mikvah was a ceremonial bathhouse inside the building, a number of places where a worshiper could modestly walk down into a pool of water, immersing themselves for ceremonial cleansing. Many things could render a worshiper unclean, touching a dead body, a woman giving birth to a child. When Mary and Joseph brought Jesus to the temple when he was 40 days old, Mary's time of uncleanness after childbirth had ended, 40 days. She was coming to make her offering of purification at the temple. She first would have gone into the mikvah and immersed herself in one of those pools of water. There are gates in this wall known as the Huldah gates. Huldah was an Old Testament prophetess. Read about her in 2 Kings 22. The Jews held her in great reverence and named the gates in her honor. Worshippers would enter through one of these triple gates up through a tunnel staircase onto the Temple Mount, then later exit back down through one of the double gates, kind of a one-way traffic pattern that helped with the flow on that very crowded and busy Temple Mount.